Every big injury case has these 3 factors present that I'm going to go over in this video. If just one of these factors is not present in your case, you will not have a huge payout for your injury claim. These factors apply to all injury cases, including car accidents, slip and trip and falls, and dog bite injury cases. The first factor that must be present in order to have a huge payout on an injury case is that there must be liability against another party. This means you must be able to show that another party acted at least negligently to cause your injuries, meaning another party was careless or inattentive. This can sometimes be easy to prove in a car accident case. For instance, if another driver rear-ended you while stopped at a traffic light because they were texting and driving, clearly the other driver was acting negligently and would be liable for any of your injuries that they caused. Liability also is often very easy to prove in dog bite or dog attack cases. In Kentucky, the state I practice law in, for instance, a dog owner is strictly liable for any damage or injuries caused by their dog. This means the dog owner is presumed liable, so even if the dog owner showed they acted reasonably by having the dog leashed and the owner had no intentions of the dog to attack you, the owner is nonetheless responsible for your injuries. There are some defenses the dog owner can raise, but in general, dog owners face an uphill battle when it comes to trying to avoid liability in a dog bite case, especially in a state with strict liability laws against dog owners. Liability, however, can sometimes be more difficult to prove in premises liability cases, such as slip or trip and fall injury cases on a business premises. Under the law of Kentucky and other states, a business open to the public like a grocery store, restaurant, hotel, gas station, or retail store has a duty to inspect for hazardous conditions on their premises that could lead to someone tripping or slipping. This is not always easy to prove. I highly recommend to anyone hurt on a business premises to take or have a loved one take photographs of the area where they fell and to report the incident to management of the business after the fall. The second factor that must be present in order to have a huge payout on an injury case is that there must be big damages. So the most common types of damages one can recover in an injury case are past and future medical bills, past and future pain and suffering, and lost wages, and also impairment to your ability to earn an income in the future. Unfortunately, if you have big damages, it likely means you have been severely injured and maybe sustained broken bones, sustained a brain injury, or required surgery due to your injuries. If you sustained bad injuries or required a surgery, your medical bills are usually going to be enormous. Don't forget though, you can also claim future damages like future medical bills or impairment to your ability to earn an income in the future. To prove the amount of your future damages, you will likely need an expert to testify or provide a report in your case. For instance, to prove future medical bills, you likely need a medical expert to testify or provide a report on how much you can expect in future medical bills. Past and future pain and suffering can also be a huge portion of the payout on an injury case. It's important to inform any insurance company of all the suffering you are going through due to your injuries. For instance, if you now have to use a walker to get around, or maybe you can no longer enjoy any of your hobbies like bowling or golf like you could prior to your accident, you want to inform the insurance company or defendant in your case of this, as that can increase the value of your case. The last factor I discussed simply kills the value of so many injury claims. The third and last factor that must be present in order to have a huge payout on an injury case is the at-fault party must have a significant amount of insurance or deep pockets available to pursue. You could sustain injuries that may leave you in a wheelchair for the rest of your life, and the accident that caused your injuries was caused by an at-fault party. But if there is not a big amount of insurance or an at-fault party with deep pockets to pursue, you likely won't have a big payout on your case. Sure, you always have the option to pursue the party for personal assets if they have no insurance or not enough insurance. However, it's been my experience most of the time, if the at-fault party does not have enough insurance to cover all your damages, it's It's not worth the effort to pursue the at-fault party personally, as most of the time the at-fault party, especially if they are an individual, does not have enough significant assets to pursue, and in many cases they are judgment proof anyways. If someone is judgment proof, they have so few assets or personal money to their name that even if you get a judgment in court against them for a sum of money, that judgment is worthless due to the limited assets held by that person. You won't collect any compensation from a judgment proof party. Not to mention, pursuing an at-fault party for their personal assets could delay your settlement with their insurance company for the policy limits, and the process can also be very time consuming. Don't get me wrong, if you have a claim against a large corporation or wealthy individual, it may very well be worth pursuing those at-fault parties for compensation beyond any insurance they have. But in my experience, those types of injury cases are rare. It's simply the case that to have a big payday on an injury case, you must have an at-fault party with a large amount of insurance or deep pockets to pursue. The thing is, simply knowing the 3 biggest keys to any injury case will give you a good understanding of what must be present for you to possibly have a big payday. But in order to actually get a big payout on your case, you must avoid making mistakes. And in this video about to pop up right here, I'll show you several of the most common mistakes one can make when handling a personal injury claim, so you know what those mistakes are in order to avoid making them, to give you the best possible chance at a big payout on your injury case. Lastly, if you've been injured in an accident in Kentucky, remember to don't wait, call Tate.